I've never had to work a 9 to 5, and I'm only 20 years old. It's just never been the route that I want to go down. And I'm not some spoiled rich kid who's funded by his parents and has them pay for everything. I literally pay for everything. My high-rise apartment, my car, this mansion that I'm staying in Malibu. Guys, I don't want any comments saying, oh, bro's claiming he owns it. Of course I don't own it. It's fucking $5 million, but I am renting it. But anyways, the purpose of this video is to explain how I put myself into a position to never have to work a 9 to 5 in my life, but still have financial freedom as well as location freedom.
I just need money and vibes, don't need none of that toxic shit. My social battery gone, I gotta stay out the mix. I'm trying to be so. The purpose of this video today is to explain how I put myself in the position where I'm at today, where I never have to work a 9 to 5, but I still have financial freedom as well as location freedom. When I was 16 years old, I had the realization that what I was learning in school was completely useless and going to college wasn't an option for me. I felt like an outsider because I was the only one of my friends who had this realization and felt like my time was being wasted in school. I was so frustrated to the degree that I refused to do my homework, and I remember sitting down and having a conversation with my parents, telling them that I didn't want to go to college, and I could visibly see the disappointment on their face. They didn't believe that I would be successful with college, and honestly, I don't blame them. Most people won't, but I had such a delusional belief in myself that I'd be able to make it work. This was just the beginning of getting to the position where I'm at today, but I'll explain how I actually took that belief and turned it into action to get to the point where I don't ever have to work a 9 to 5 at 20 years old. I immediately tried everything possible to figure out another way to make money outside of the system. So I just started reading books, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, just trying to find every possible way that people make money so that I can try and do it for myself. Long story short, I tried about 4 or 5 different online businesses. They didn't end up working, but I knew that quitting wasn't an option, and eventually I found my first business that actually worked. I started reselling items on eBay and Facebook Marketplace, and I was actually making pretty good money for a 16-year-old. At some points, I was even bringing in over $10,000 a month revenue, and I honestly felt on top of the world. I remember going to my mom some days and showing her my profit that I had made $500-600 in a day, and I remember her being proud, but also seeing on her face that she didn't think this would be long lasting, and she turned out to be right. About 1 year into the business, after having consistent months of making money, being able to travel, take weekend trips, stay in nice hotels, book my own flights, and start feeling that life of freedom as a 17-year-old kid, I was extremely happy. But one day I woke up and my accounts got shut down. So I wasn't able to make any more money, and this left me in a spot where I felt like I was starting from ground zero. The business that I was running didn't have any translatable skill sets to any other business, so I had no idea how to do anything besides actually run that business that I was doing. So at this point, it had been a few months of me trying to recover my accounts. I was around 18 years old, and I was honestly at a low point. I'd spent all my money traveling. I'd spent it on nice luxury stuff because I thought the money was going to keep coming in, but my business had crashed. So I had no money, no skill sets, and no idea what to do. And honestly, at some points, I kind of felt like giving up the idea of being able to make money online and live that life of freedom that I wanted. And I thought that I might have to just go back to college and go down the route that I absolutely hated. And this really made me take a step back and look at things from a bird's eye view and see where I could actually go from there. So after months of reflecting, doing research, talking to friends who run businesses and that I highly respect that were further along than me, I came
came to the realization that I need to focus on skill sets, because if you build your skill sets, you're always going to be able to make money, rather than trying to find the best make money online opportunity, reselling, whatever, crypto, meme coins, all of that stuff. You can make quick money, but you're left with nothing. Once the opportunity stops, you literally have nothing, and you're the exact same as you started. And I've listened to several podcasts, I've read a ton of books about people who have made it to the highest level of business, who are self-made, and they all talk about one thing, which is building skill sets. Whether it's sales, marketing, copywriting, any skill set, it doesn't really matter. If you're able to stack skills, that's gonna make you become the type of person that can run almost any successful business. And if you look at 75% of self-made billionaires, they all started in direct sales. So at this point, I decided to get started with sales. I knew a few people that were around my age that I heard making $15,000, $20,000 a month selling products for business owners by getting on phone calls. And before fully committing to this, I'm gonna be honest, I was extremely nervous. I've never seen myself as a sales guy. I've always been the shy kid in high school who was quiet and didn't say much, so I knew that there'd be a lot to learn. So at this point, I went all in. I took all of my resources, my time, my money, my energy, and I went all in on learning sales. And like I said, because of my personality, it was really an uphill battle. I had a lot to learn, and I had to get a lot of practice in, so it probably took me longer than it would for most of you guys at home. But after months of being fully committed, all in on this, camera just died, so we're on the phone now. But after months of learning how to sell, learning how to take calls, learning how to actually outreach to business owners to land my first position, I finally landed my first sales position. I was making cold calls for about 5 to 6 hours a day, and I remember it wasn't easy. I was always a quiet person. I didn't like to talk much, but I knew that it'd be worth it. Anyways, month into my first sales position, after making a ton of cold calls, I made a staggering $50. And this is where most people would give up, right? They think this isn't a good opportunity. You can't make money with this. I just went all in and I made $50. But again, I had a different frame of mind that I was looking at it, where I'm trying to build a skill set, and I know if I build it to a high enough level, the amount that I get paid is going to reflect. So I kept pushing, I kept looking for other sales position. I even kept taking calls for that same company so that I could still get more reps in, talk to more people, get better at sales. And eventually I land another role, which I made my first $1,000 commission. I remember I closed one deal and I made $1,200. And this is the moment that I realized this actually works. And with remote sales, once you know how to sell and you've been on the phone several times, you've closed people, really all it's about is getting a little bit better day by day and trying to put yourself in a good position. Because I've seen people who are horrible at sales but make a lot of money because they're on a good position, or they're getting a lot of leads coming in, and they're able to close a lot of people who are actually warm and interested in the product. So this is what I set out to look for, and eventually I was able to land my first position to where I was making over 6 figures a year. Paychecks were coming in, I was making over $10,000 a month, and I was only using a few hours of my time. So I was able to travel around, live anywhere, and I was making good money. And now I know no matter what, I'll always be able to make money, because there's always going to be business owners who need people who are good at sales in order to drive revenue and actually sell their product. A year and a half later of getting better at sales and finding better positions, I'm now making over $20,000 a month. I'm able to travel the world. I'm able to feel comfort in the fact that I know that I'll never have to work a 9 to 5. And if you guys are to take anything from this video, it's not me trying to tell you that you should take the same exact route as me and get a sales position. But what I am saying is that you need to focus on learning a skill that's always going to get you paid, so that you'll never go broke and you do have the option to never have to work a 9 to 5. But with that being said, that's my story on how I was able to get to where I'm at today, to be able to not have to work a normal job at 20 years old, have financial freedom, location freedom, and peace of mind that I'll never have to work a 9 to 5. If you guys are interested in learning sales, I have a free community. I'm going to link it in the description. How to learn sales, how to land your first sales role, and how to do it the correct way so you don't make the same mistake as me going on a sales position and wasting a ton of time. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you got any value out of this, make sure to subscribe, and God bless you guys.